Welcome to the Dragon's Den. It's your host, MT, and today I want to cover 7 things that can make you a more valuable musician, especially for band leaders who need last-minute subs because the show must go on. Then this video is for you. Now, if you play in a band where you always have the same members and you pretty much play your songs by the book, the way they are in the recordings, etc., you may not get too much value out of this because these types of communications probably won't be occurring on your stage. Yet, if you're a working musician and you're looking to increase your workload and to make yourself more valuable to band leaders that unfortunately find themselves in that situation where they need a last-minute fill-in, then this video is for you. So stick around. I'm going to cover 7 things that can make you a more valuable commodity. And then as a bonus, I have an 8th thing that I think all musicians that are professional should put this in your tool bag. So stick around right here on the Dragon's Den. So the first thing I want to cover is speed up and slow down. Okay? So if you're watching your band leader, and generally I'm going to say these are guitarists and bass players, maybe vocalists too, okay? But a lot of times these signals are going to come from musicians that are playing, and so they can only use one hand generally to communicate with you, alrighty? So the first 2 I want to cover, it's actually one, part A, part B, are speed up and slow down. So if you're looking at the back of your front man or woman, front person, and you see them going like this, and this is going to be down by their waist, you know, that means slow it down, okay? That doesn't mean bring down the volume. It means bring down the tempo. You see me like this. Hold it down, okay? And on the flip side, if you see me doing the opposite, where I'm going like this, that means come on, pick it up now, right? That's what that means. It means come the heck on. The tempo is dragging. So when you see me doing that, I'm not just having a twitch. Your band leader doesn't just have itchy socks, okay? They're trying to tell you, hey. This is either dragging or this is a runaway freight train. We need to get tempo adjusted. And let me add one little addendum. I know a lot of times drummers, especially some of those who are quote unquote very professional, don't like tempo alterations. Yet, I would just say that there's some great videos of B.B. King out there doing The Thrill Is Gone, where he starts out at a real slow pace, then they get to a medium pace, and at the end they're cooking tempo-wise. And each time it's because B.B. King said, let's go, let's go. So for those of you who are stuck in, I'm the drummer, we started at this tempo, you need to throw that out the window, okay? Because if you do that, you won't be in my Rolodex very long, okay? You won't be at the top of my list. If you want to be at the top of the list, you don't take that personally, and you just follow the command. There's no one out in the audience judging or gauging you. Oh, slow down. They don't understand that. They might just understand that you're not following the commands of the front person, okay? So make sure that when you see the let's get it going or slow this down, put a rein on these horses, you just do it, and it's not an affront to you and your professionalism. It's just what's required in the moment to let the front person be comfortable so that they can deliver the goods for the crowd. Okay. Number 2. If you see your band leader doing that, that means take it from the top. That's right. Very simple one, right? Right here. You see this happening, that means you take it from the top and you run it back just like the same format, the same arrangement as we've been playing. You stay on that, and it's really, really simple. There's no, great mystery. You run the same form unless you're directed otherwise. So, very, very simple one, and can be used for any number of reasons, especially if you're playing like a, type of gig where it's a lot of people are dancing or something like that, and you have a tune that's working really well. You finally got everyone up. You have the room of 1,500, 2,000 people. You got them up. You got them dancing. Don't end that song. If that was the song that got them up, the band leader might want to keep that one going and run it back and keep them up, get them sweaty, get them a little bit tired, get them to go over to the bar and buy a few more drinks, right? These are the type of tricks that keep you employed. So when you see the band leader going like this, he's not just trying to shorten himself or herself. They're just asking you to take it from the top. Number 3, if you see your band leader go like this, usually that means one more time. And unlike number 2, it's not referring to take it from the top. It simply means that whatever segment you're on, whether it's a verse, a chorus, pre-chorus, whatever it might be, the band leader wants you to repeat that part, okay? So, and there could be a myriad of reasons for that. Something's working well. They want to try something again. They want those hits, as we will cover a little bit later. Yet, if you see this sign, a lot of times this will mean do it again, let's do it again, and run it back. Number 4. So if you see your band leader all of a sudden going like this or like this, they're not trying to learn how to fly. They're trying to get you to either bring it up or bring it down, okay? And I would just suggest that if you're not sure about how far up or down they want you to go, just look at the intensity of what they want. If they go like way down, and you know it's way down, if they just go a little bit, then they want you just to come down a little bit, maybe from 8 or 9 down to like 5 or 6, okay? Also, same here, right? And if you see something like this, you're going to know, take the freaking roof off. And of course, there's the obvious one too, if they can turn around, is the bring it down, okay? So real short and simple, the dynamics. Up, down, pretty cut and dry. I'm not trying to grow wings and, fly in from wherever. I'm just trying to get us to reduce or increase the intensity. Number 5. So if you're playing, especially in a blues or jazz format, and the band leader looks over at you, especially when they're singing the last few lines of a verse or the last few lines of a chorus, they're probably looking over at you, wanting you to solo. Okay, next. That's right. Because once again, a lot of times these musics are not fully scripted. There's a bit of flying by the seat of your pants, seeing what feels good, doing those things in the moment, okay? So your band leader isn't just looking over at you, grinning and going, hey, hello, it's a nice day over there, right? No, it's you. Yeah, because I've had a lot of cats that aren't experienced, and they're not pros. So we've got to take this with a bit of a grain of salt. But I have cats that look, and then their eyes get big, okay? And they look back, and I'm like, I have to point over at them. No, you, yeah, it's you, not the dude behind you. Not your shadow, you solo, okay? So if you get that look, and this once again, obviously probably doesn't apply too much to bass players and drummers, yet to all of you other instrumentalists, yes, I'm looking over because I want you to take one. And you know what? Another thing too, I get sometimes musicians that they only take one. I would suggest that there is sort of an unspoken rule, especially with more generous band leaders, and I would suggest with instrumentalist band leaders, because they get this a little bit better than just straight up vocalists who don't play an instrument. And that is, it's incredibly difficult to build a coherent solo one time through. So most of the time, when someone calls on you, they want you to take at least two, okay? And I'm going to tell you this, if you're really kicking some butt and you're stomping on it, keep me in the corner of your eye, because I'm going to probably be looking over at you going, go on, go on. You smoking it up, you lighting it on fire. Take a third one. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing more wonderful than having a soloist that for whatever reason, the tune, the groove, the moment, they are straight up on fire. You need to let them roll. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not going to mention the names to protect the guilty, okay? But I was doing a show, and it was actually a live recording, both audio and video, some years back. And we had a special guest on stage who I ended up playing with later in his band. Yet that night I was with another outfit, and this guest guitarist was throwing a solo, and he was playing the most brilliant solo imaginable. And I think my band leader was threatened because he was also a guitarist. And after one time through, he threw the solo to a sax player, and it was horrible. Still to this day, when I listen to that recording, I wonder, where would that solo have gone? The player was absolutely brilliant. He's now passed on. And to give you a hint who he was, I was the bass player on his only recording, well, his full-length album that he ever did. So that might give you a clue. Totally brilliant. And you know what the sad part of that was too? It was in the key of A, so not the greatest horn key. And the sax player was actually struggling to lay it down. And the band leader gave the sax player 2 choruses while he cut the guitarist to 1. And I'm going to suggest it was out of jealousy, okay? So let's not let that happen. If someone's cooking and smoking, it's only going to make you look better. You know, the audience is looking at this as an overall production. We're a band of brothers and sisters, right, on stage. So there is none of this weird, oh, this guy is sounding better, I got to curb them, blah, blah, blah. They don't see that. Simply because, really, we are supposed to be a band of brothers and sisters. So for you band leaders who miss this, don't cut people short when they're playing something brilliant, even though it may challenge you as a player. Let them go. And you know what? There's another way around that too. If you're like, oh, heck, this person's really lighting it up on this tune, maybe you don't have to take a solo on this particular song. And that way you can escape that because the other player just played something that was so brilliant that probably doesn't need to be followed up by anything else. We'll just let that stand. We'll move on, and we'll take some solos on the next tunes. There you go. That was number 5. Number 6. So this one is especially for if your band leader is a guitar player or a bass player. It might be a little bit easier to see with other musicians, okay? And with guitar players and bass players, this one applies for you side people to pay attention to. If you see your band leader taking their guitar neck and going like this, right? They're wanting them hits. They're wanting those accents, right? Give me them hits like James Brown. I need them hits. Gotta have them hits. Okay. Here's the trick though, because I've had cats do all over the place. Sometimes when I bring my neck up, they hit up here. What? Or they hit like halfway through. The place to do the hit, and trust me, we will follow the drummer. All the musicians who really know how this works will look out of the corner of their eye and make sure and do the hit right when the drummer smashes down. That's the important part. Yet for the drummer to get them hits where the front person wants it, here's what I would suggest. You're going to know what the standard position is for your front person, guitarist or bassist, how they hold their guitar or bass, where they, right? So when the neck comes down to that standard position, that's where the hit should be. Not before then, not even after then, okay? It's going to be the natural position. Whammo. And you know what? Don't be afraid, especially for you drummers. You take the lead, because musicians who are experienced in this, they understand that it's sort of the neck of the front person, yet this whole thing doesn't work unless we actually hit when the drummer hits. So the band leader is going to call for it, yet we're all going to do it on the millisecond of the drummer, okay? So drummers, this one is on you a little bit more than the other musicians, yet you are my second in command on stage. You know that, right? You're the first officer, Mr. Spock. All righty. So another really big one, because this is a real great way for the lead person to put some accents in it, to get the show in there, to do some vocalizing, things at the end of the song, different stuff. That's part of how you build the show, okay? Okay, that brings us to number 7. And number 7 and also number 8 are not actually signals. They're just kind of insights into what's going on, okay? And number 7 will go back to, let me look at my list here. It will go back to number 4 with the dynamics, with the volume. One issue I encounter is when I either break bands down or I bring them up, that there are tempo changes. Tempo changes with the dynamics. You see, when I said bring it down, I didn't say slow it down. I said bring it down, right? Exactly. And this one, the opposite, is especially difficult, because when someone says bring it up, a lot of times people want to speed up. And it's like, That's a tough thing to do too. I know, because the adrenaline starts flowing, you're pumped up, the crowd is into it, and the band leader wants you to bring it up some more, so you do, but you get excited. You get excited, right? And you start to get the runaway freight train effect. Don't do it. Take some deep breaths, play with intensity, and keep in the tempo pocket. That's what makes you a great pro, okay? And we're going to go straight into number 8. And this is one that I find that a lot of amateur musicians don't agree with this at all. And they think that there's something phony about this, and that, somehow this doesn't apply to me, and, what are you talking about, and blah, 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 okay? What it is I call it staying in character. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that when you come to do shows, people come to see you because you're an artist and you've got something special going on, okay? They don't want to come see you because you're regular Joe Blow, that you dress like regular Joe, that you act and talk like regular Joe or Jane or Jill, right? You are someone who's on a stage, and as one of my rock star friends once said, there's a reason the stage is elevated and you're on it, because you have something to say. Yet, I'll tell you this, about staying in character. I remember I pulled up to a gig one time, and I had just pulled up, and I was sitting in the front seat of my van, and I was thinking about some things, and whatever they were distressing me a little bit. And I know I must have had like a scowl on my face or something. And I remember looking up and seeing one of my fans, and they were looking right at me already. They saw me before I saw them. And they were looking at my facial expressions. And they were like, whoa. And it hit me. I go, oh, crap. You know what, my man? As soon as you pull into the freaking parking lot, it's on. You're Superman or woman. You went into the booth and you changed clothes. So you got to put all that other stuff aside, and you need to be that person that they came to see. It starts right away. And guess what? They're always watching. There is always someone watching you. And you don't realize it. They're always paying attention. It doesn't even matter. So stay in character. And that doesn't mean be phony or weird or, you know what? For some cats, maybe their character is just to be regular Joe or Jane. And they don't do anything extra. But maybe that's exactly your character as well. Okay? And I want to add something to this little number 8 discussion. Dress code. Dress for success. This is also part of being in character, okay? You need to dress for success. And whatever your genre is, you got to figure out how you fit into that and how you're going to dress. I see way too many talented musicians shooting themselves in the foot by dressing what I would just consider inappropriately. And I know I'm going to get some pushback, yet let me make a couple of examples, and maybe this will ring truer to you. When you walk into an attorney's office, and out here in California, a good attorney could be $750, $800, $1,000 an hour, okay? So when you walk into this attorney's office, how would you feel if they were sitting there in a tank top, t-shirt, and flip-flops, drinking a Mai Tai going, yeah, come on in, man, right? No. You expect to see that attorney in a 3-piece suit sitting behind a desk full of papers doing some work. So you feel good about spending your $1,000, right? Right. And then you could go through all different examples of outfits people wear. Firefighters, different people. Nurse. I mean, go down the list. Carpenter. People generally don't wear the same stuff that they wear around their house, around town when they get on stage, okay? You got to do something a little extra. And on the flip side of that, brings me back to the 80s and 90s to hair metal. And I can remember it was such a crack up seeing the metal guys, particularly like you're at the grocery store at 11 a.m. and you got a shopping cart and you look over and you see some dude with long hair and you're like, well, obviously that's a metal musician. But he's dressed like he's going shopping and he only has a couple of seconds to fill his shopping cart because he's going to have to run and rush to be on stage because he's dressed like he's going to a show imminently. What? Save the stage clothes for the stage. So it goes both directions. People don't expect to see you on stage like you're just regular Joe Blow. You made no effort to distinct yourself, even if your outfit for your genre are jeans and t-shirts. You know, put on a new jeans, put on some new t-shirts, okay? Right. And on the flip side, if you're like Gwar or Kiss or some band like that, do you dress that way off stage? Well, of course not, right? So now you see the value of not only staying in character, yet part of staying and being in character is also a dress code, okay? So those are 6 things plus 2 little bonus things that can make you more valuable. And here's the deal with that value. A lot of times, man, band leaders get into a bind for whatever reason. I mean, it's SoCal. It could be, I'm using SoCal as an example because I live here. But one thing that could maybe screw you up, maybe there was a bad accident on the 405. The dude's going to be stuck. He can't get out. You need someone. Quick. Pick up the phone. Someone got sick. Whatever. There can be as many reasons as one can think of why sometimes you need a last-minute sub. And if you guys put these tricks into your tool bag, you will rise to the top of the black book of band leaders. They know that they can call you in a moment's notice and you can deliver the goods. I remember I was down here at the beach looking for my dogs a couple years ago. Phone rings. It's about 2 o'clock. I'm like, shit, it's my buddy, musician colleague. Hey, what's good, man? What are you doing tonight, Martin? Well, I was going to be at home playing. I'm not going to say the bad joke. I'm going to say that for another one. But I'm at home playing. Well, what's good? Can you come down to San Diego and play tonight? Oh, shucks. Yeah. What time do you need me? At 7. Oh, shit. It's 2 o'clock now. That means I got to load up my stuff after I capture my dogs, get my outfit together, get down there through traffic and get parked and set up and be ready for a 7 o'clock downbeat. This is all what you're processing, right? And so you say, yeah, sure. Man, I'll be there. I'll see you. I'll be there at 6. Cheers. Okay. See? That band leader called me because the band leader knows that I know the stuff that we covered in the video today. So although the band leader doesn't want to operate like this normally, it's an emergency. They can't cancel the gig. I mean, man, if you got a contract or even if you have a verbal contract, you need to play that show or you could find yourself in a bit of trouble legally. So that's where you come in. You're the valuable musician in the black book that I know that, look, maybe there's going to be a few bumps and bruises getting through this show, but I know you're an experienced veteran. And when I call out some of these signals, you're not just going to be staring at me with big eyes going, what is MT talking about? Okay? This is hugely important. So if you can put a few of these things or all of these into your tool bag and learn how to recognize them and recognize them and perform them in a way that's like a bit of a sleight of hand, that's a little bit slick, right? And professional. That will make you a super valuable player that people will keep at the top of their Rolodex for last minute calls. And they don't even have to be like the day of. It could be a week out. There's so many different scenarios where people need to get someone. They don't have a bunch of days to get you rehearsed and get you up to speed. And even if they play the music isn't cookie cutter. It's not going to be exactly like the recording because it's a live show, right? And another thing about that is for a lot of, especially blues and jazz musicians, we don't want to play it exactly like the record. It takes too much energy to try to stay in that. Plus, this is why people come to the live show to see something different. They could just stay at home, right? And listen to the CD if they wanted you to play it just like the record, man. Which I know that's like, at least when I grew up in the 80s, that was a big deal. We used to gauge bands by how close they played it to the record. But then, I started maturing a bit and I started realizing that, whoa, the actual super hip artists don't need to prove to you that they can play it actually like the recording. And what is always so brilliant is being able to go to a show and then when somebody asks you, hey, how was the show? You can tell them, oh my God, it was just amazing. They did this and this and this and this, and it's all stuff that's not on the record, right? That's the reason to come to the show. So some of these things are so super important for your career to make you more valuable so that you can help other musicians achieve their goal. And at the same time, you're going to be rewarded by getting more calls, You're going to be filling up your schedule. You're going to be staying busy. You're going to be sought after a while as a top side person because they know I don't have to talk too much. This person knows what's going on. You know, they know simple cues. Bring it up, down, slow it down, simple things, do it again from the top, right? It's all basic. So I hope this was a little bit helpful. And, you know, one of these days I'm going to make a video. I'm looking around to see if anyone is listening. I'm going to make a video where I actually describe some of the things that have happened that relate to some of this stuff, and we can all have a good laugh together, because sometimes there simply are some train wrecks and disasters. Yet the goal is to avoid all that. And you know what else too is great? Is when you play with someone in a pickup setting like this and something crazy happens, yet the whole band still manages to be like a cat and land on its feet no matter what. I mean, I've seen this. And then you nail an ending and you're kind of looking around. And I know sometimes I've turned around and looked at some of my most professional drummer friends, and we look at each other. We're like, we have a big smile because we know we just escaped and landed on our feet like a cat. Now, we did burn up one of our lives, but it was worth it, okay? So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm really stoked that you're here in the Dragon's Den. We're going to have some more stuff coming up. I know I promised some things in regards to intervals. Boy, some days the brain shuts off. And we're going to have that coming up too. But for today, I hope that this has been a little bit of a help for you, and that you can apply some of these things and learn some of these things, and you can become a better musician. All right? You have a wonderful day. Peace and blessings. And we'll see you next time right here on the Dragon's Den. Peace.